Giannis Antetokounmpo is headed to South Beach?
Giannis informed the team numerous times that it was time for both sides to move on, that he would not sign a long-term contract extension.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Miami Heat. Say that out loud for a second. Because on a Monday night in June, the eve of the 2026 NBA Draft, one of the most seismic trades in the history of this league became official. The Milwaukee Bucks agreed to send Giannis to South Beach, and the rest of the NBA, they are not ready for what just walked through that door. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation. This happened. And today, we are going to break down exactly why it happened, what it means for Miami, and why the Eastern Conference should be genuinely deeply concerned. Stay with me, because this one is going to take a minute. To truly understand this trade, you have to go back to the beginning. Not 2021, not the championship. Further back, 2013 NBA Draft. Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo with the 15th overall pick. An 18-year-old from Athens, Greece, who had barely played organized professional basketball at any serious level. Lanky, raw, widely considered a long-term project at best. What followed was the most remarkable individual transformation the modern NBA has ever witnessed. Most improved player, back-to-back MVPs, defensive player of the year, and then 2021, a moment that stopped time. Game 6 of the NBA Finals, 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks. A performance so total, so overwhelming, that even the most experienced basketball minds in the world struggled to find the right words for it. It was the greatest closeout performance since the shot clock era began, full stop. And when Giannis walked off that floor with the Finals MVP trophy, Milwaukee celebrating behind him, it felt like the start of something lasting. A dynasty beginning to take shape. It wasn't. 5 years later, the Bucks finished 32-50. They missed the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Their franchise cornerstone spent most of the season watching from the sideline in street clothes. And quietly, over months of losing and roster uncertainty, Giannis and his camp had been delivering a message to Milwaukee's front office. Not publicly, no drama, no scenes. Just a clear, direct message. It is time for both sides to move on. He would not be signing a long-term extension. The chapter was closing. Once Milwaukee accepted reality, the calls started coming in from around the league. Boston made a serious run. The Celtics put together a package centered around Jaylen Brown. It was significant. It was not enough. Pat Riley made a different kind of offer. Now, let's talk about Pat Riley for a moment, because the man is 81 years old and he has been doing this longer than most NBA players have been alive. He coached the Showtime Lakers to 4 championships. He built the Miami Heat into a powerhouse essentially from scratch. He landed Shaquille O'Neal. He put together LeBron, Wade, and Bosh in 2010. He bet on Jimmy Butler when the rest of the league was questioning his fit everywhere he went. And on Monday night, he pulled off the biggest acquisition of his entire career. Miami sent Tyler Herro, their leading scorer for 7 straight seasons and a 2025 All-Star, along with center Khalil Ware, forward Jaime Jaquez Jr., and second-year guard Kasper Jakutsjunis to Milwaukee. They included the 13th pick in this year's draft, unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a 2030 pick swap, and a 2033 second-rounder. That is a massive franchise-altering package of draft capital, and Riley gave it up without hesitation, because here's what he got in return: a 2-time MVP, a 10-time All-Star, the only player in NBA history to win Most Improved Player, back-to-back MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP, a player who, even this past season, even while limited to just 36 games by calf and knee injuries, averaged 27.6 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game while shooting 62.4% from the floor. Riley has always been willing to mortgage the future when the right player becomes available. And Giannis, at 31 years old, is absolutely the right player. Now let's talk about basketball. Because the reaction from around the league has not simply been concern, it has been alarm. Bam Adebayo is 28 years old. This past season, he averaged 20.1 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.2 assists across 73 games. 3-time All-Star, 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. A defender who can guard point guards on the perimeter, protect the rim, anchor a drop coverage, and switch onto virtually any position on the floor without giving anything up. His defensive impact numbers this season were the best of his career. When Bam was on the floor, opponents scored 112.5 points per 100 possessions. When he sat, that number jumped to 117.9. Now put Giannis next to him. Giannis is a former Defensive Player of the Year. He is the prototype for what the modern NBA has been trying to build for 2 decades. A 6'11 player who can guard positions 1 through 5, covers ground faster than most wings in the league, and erases mistakes at the rim after closing distances that no one else on the floor can close. Together, Giannis and Bam create something the NBA has not seen from a single front-court pairing in a very long time. 2 elite defensive anchors who are equally comfortable switching, equally capable of protecting the paint, and equally able to completely disrupt an offensive set just by being in the right position. When Erik Spoelstra designs defensive schemes around this front court, things are going to get deeply uncomfortable for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference. This is not just a strong defensive front court. This is potentially a historically great defensive front court, and offensively, Giannis solves Miami's single biggest problem overnight. The Heat have needed a primary playmaker who can get downhill against any defense in any game situation, regardless of what the opponent throws at them. Bam is excellent, but has always functioned best as a second option. Giannis is a 6'11 freight train who collapses defenses, opens driving lanes for teammates, creates clean looks for shooters on the perimeter, and finishes through contact at the highest level in the game. Everything around him gets easier. Everything around Bam gets easier. The floor opens up in ways it simply did not before this trade happened. So what does the rest of the roster actually look like? Norman Powell is an unrestricted free agent, but Miami holds his bird rights and can bring him back at any price. He just had the best season of his career, 21.7 points per game, 38% from 3, and his first All-Star selection. He is the perfect third offensive option for this team. A player who can create off the dribble, find mismatches in the mid-range, and knock down corner threes off Giannis' gravity. Re-signing Powell is the single most important move Miami makes this offseason. Everything else builds from that decision. Andrew Wiggins holds a $30.2 million player option for next season and is expected to pick it up. He is not the same player he was at his Golden State peak, but he is still a legitimate two-way wing, 15.5 points. 4.9 rebounds, a block per game, and over 2 made threes per night this past season. Davion Mitchell runs the point. He is not a shot creator, but he is one of the best on-ball perimeter defenders in the entire league and gives Miami a genuine pest at the point of attack every single night. Bobby Portis comes along with the deal from Milwaukee, a physical, scrappy rebounder with real playoff experience who fits exactly the kind of competitive culture Miami demands from everyone in that locker room. Now here is the one legitimate concern with this roster: spacing. Tyler Herro, a career 38.2% three-point shooter, is gone. Bam Adebayo has been expanding his range, but he connected on just 31% of his threes this past season. Giannis is a career 28.5% three-point shooter. You are potentially looking at 2 very large non-shooters sharing the floor at the center and power forward positions at the same time. That is a real problem. Spoelstra knows it, Riley knows it, and how Miami addresses that issue this summer, whether through free agency, a mid-level exception signing, or some combination of moves, will be the single most important factor in determining how deep this team can actually go. But here's the other side of that coin. The core 4 of Adebayo, Wiggins, Powell, and Mitchell outscored opponents by 6.2 points per 100 possessions across 540 minutes together this past season. That is before you factor in what Giannis does to every lineup he steps into. The offensive ceiling rises, the defensive ceiling rises, and Miami's ability to push the pace in transition with Giannis and Bam leading the break turns the spacing concern into a problem that can be managed, even if it cannot be completely eliminated. There is a real version of the Miami Heat that wins the Eastern Conference next season. That is not a hot take. That is a genuine possibility that front offices across the league are already sitting with. Think about what Erik Spoelstra is actually working with here. He built a finals team around Jimmy Butler and a roster full of undrafted free agents and Heat culture projects. He took LeBron and Wade and Bosh to 4 consecutive finals appearances. He is, by any honest accounting, one of the 4 or 5 best coaches this league has ever produced. And now he gets Giannis. Spoelstra's defenses have been historically elite when he has had the right personnel. His offensive systems are built around pace, movement, and attacking rotations before they can recover. Everything about how Giannis plays, his size, his speed, his ability to make decisions at full sprint, is perfectly designed to thrive inside that system.